Mokwheel is one of the most popular manufacturers of electric bikes, especially here in America. And this is their new Basalt ST 2.0. So right now the Basalt ST 2.0, this model right here, is retailing for about $16.99. And there are a few different additions and upgrades that you can add. You can get an 8-speed Shimano gear set in the back. So if you look here, you can see that this is a step-through design. They do have a high-step version of the Basalt, but I do like these low step ones because it's a lot better for people with mobility issues, and it's just easier to get on this bike. You'll notice something missing from the rear here, and that is rear suspension. This is a hardtail bike, so if you want a cushier ride, this might not be the bike for you. And you can get a look at the cargo rack back here. It is this nice wood finish on here, and definitely looks a lot better than most manufacturers' cargo racks. And here is our seat post. You can see the seat post goes up decently high. This is our minimum insert right here. And down here you can see our big crank, and it also looks kind of like a mid-drive, but it's not. I think that's just where the controller and everything goes. And then on the back you can see our 7 Shimano gears on the back there, and then we have a tourney derailleur on the rear. In the rear there also is our 1100 watt hub motor, which is actually pretty powerful on this bike, as you'll see in a little bit. Let's look at our suspension on the front there. It is adjustable compression as well as preload. And then here is the tires on here. That's the tread. They are 26 by 4 inch. And just like every other Mokwheel bike I've ever tested, you've got your key here for the battery, which is in the middle and drops out here. This is a 48 volts, 20 amp hour battery. Got a little battery indicator there at the top, and then it just slaps back in the same way that it came out. Really, really simple. And on the front here, you can see our headlight. They do include a front fender on this, but I didn't put it on yet. They also have a spot up here for a front rack, which they do offer extra. On the rear, you also get 2 sets of taillights. You can see that you get a top one, and then you get one on each side here, and they do glow brighter when you hit the brake lever. And then this bike does come with rear turn signals. You can see it blinking on the back there. It shows on the top and the bottom light. And here is a closer look at our handlebars. You can see here on the left, Mokwheel always does these really nice grips that are this faux leather. They have this little bubble here that kind of fits into the palm of your hand. And then you do have your thumb throttle here on the left as well. Then you have your little menu control pad. Also, it's the same one that I saw on the Onyx recently. And Mokwheel's doing a little something different with this screen here. I'll show you what I mean. You can pinch this down here, and the screen actually just disconnects like that. I think it might turn the bike off as well, but then you can just push it back down and then turn it on. And I guess that's a relatively useful feature, but I mean, if somebody steals the bike, they could just get another screen from Mokwheel, I guess. But I mean, it is nice to see Mokwheel trying something different. And you've got your Shimano 7-speed shifter right there. You also get some really nice Tektro hydraulic brakes on this bike, which is nice to see, especially for the price. And then you've got 2 ports right here on the bottom of the frame. This one is for your charger to charge the battery up while it's on the bike, and then this one is the inverter port. As you know, Mokwheel offers an inverter. I hear that it's pretty cool. You can charge this thing with a solar panel, and you can even run some appliances off of the bike if you're out camping or out in a remote area. This is how I look standing next to the Basalt ST 2.0. I got the seat up at about hip height, and we will just step through the middle of the bike here and sit down on it. And overall, it's pretty comfortable for me. But I could definitely see shorter riders fitting on this pretty comfortably. At 5'9", I can easily flat foot this thing where I have the seat height adjusted to. Riding position is comfortable, just like every other Mokwheel bike. You can adjust the handlebars here up and down a little bit. They have a little bit of adjustability. Overall, feels great, just like every other Mokwheel bike I've tested. Mokwheel really does a great job with their bikes. They're not the fastest, they're not the craziest bikes, but they make a bike for the mass market. They make a bike for most people, and that's what I really like about Mokwheel. And they pay attention to details, like the nice wood here on the cargo area, the grips, the Tektro hydraulic brakes. The paint on this frame looks really, really well. All of the tolerances and everything are nice. Nothing on here really screams cheap or budget, which is good because this isn't exactly a cheap bike. If you do want to save a little bit of money though, you can use my coupon code, which is down below, but you can also buy the Basalt ST 1.0, which will save you like $400 or $500. I think right now it's listed for like $1,200 or $1,300. I don't think you get that screen that comes off. And you know, I don't think you get the taillights either. There are a few other features that are missing on the 1.0 compared to this. But if you want the latest and greatest, you gotta get the 2.0. So the Mokwheel Basalt ST 2.0 looks like a pretty good bike on paper, but how does it perform in the real world out on the road? Let's find out and get it out there for a road test. All right guys, so out here on the Basalt ST 2.0, just my first like half mile riding on this bike. This thing feels awesome, which is what I've come to expect from Mokwheel products. Like every Mokwheel product that I've tested out so far has just been really well done, really well polished, and there's just a step above the regular kind of generic Chinese e-bike. You know, Mokwheel just, they do things really well. I can definitely see why they're so popular. Like I said, I see these things all the time by me. This is probably one of the e-bikes that I have seen the most out just in the wild when I'm riding around on bike trails and stuff. People love these things. And I know that there's bike stores around here that that sell these things a lot too. So Mokwheel just very, very popular and everything. I've had great experiences on Mokwheel bikes. 1100 watt hub motor in the rear is very punchy. I have the sensitivity setting up on this. I have it at 5, and it definitely helps just off the line. Like the throttle response is almost instant on this thing. It really feels good. Let's flip around here. That wind is just so bad going that way. So this way, we're at a bit of a tailwind. Let's see if we can hit our top speed here. It's 29, 30. You know, 30 miles an hour is a pretty good top speed. Again, this is a 48 volt bike, so can't expect the craziest top speed. But Mokwheel, they definitely are I've always been impressed with the power on Mokwheel bikes. They're not the crazy fastest. Let's do a little bit of off-roading here on a construction site. This is not what this bike is meant to do. We're gonna do it anyways. Yeah, it doesn't feel bad. I'm standing up, obviously. This is a hardtail bike, so. Ooh. Oh yeah. Yeah. Feels really good, feels smooth. There's no weird wobbles or like creaks and rattles and stuff. Steering is pretty stable. The wind kind of wants to blow me over right now. That's the one thing. But the riding position is nice. I do feel a little bit forward on this bike. It's definitely not the biggest frame, this standard variation. Feels like that front suspension is doing a good job at sort of ironing out the bumps on the front. The brakes on this are these Tektro, and they do a pretty good job. I wasn't like full force braking on there, but I've broken them in pretty good, and Tektro always does a good job with their hydraulic brakes. And I think on every Mokwheel bike that I've had, they've had Tektros, which is good because they are charging a little bit more of a premium price, Mokwheel is. So it's good to see that you get some premium hydraulic brakes on these, and they should last you a long time. You don't have to go through the adjustment and everything. It just makes owning this bike a lot more simple and straightforward, because this is a mass market bike. There's not going to be people who want to really do much maintenance or know how to do maintenance. And if you bring this to a bike shop, they'll be able to work on the brakes and stuff. Like I said, this is not an off-road bike for sure, but let's go ahead and take it on this off-road section, see how it does up the hill right here, and just see how this thing does off-road. It's going to be very bumpy. Oh, yeah, because this thing has no rear suspension, so. All right, so I'm gonna try this just from a complete stop. We're in a low gear if I have to help it up. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, definitely gotta help it up. Struggling up this hill. Not a hill climber, that's for sure. There's some pretty tall gearing on this. Even in first gear, I kind of wasn't really able to pedal up that hill, as you guys saw. Let's see how this thing does with a run out. Pedal assist 5, sensitivity all the way up. Yeah, on pavement, it feels really, really strong, but on the off-road stuff like this, I can definitely feel that it is kind of cutting power a little bit. Doesn't feel like the strongest on off-road like this, which is weird because on pavement, it really kind of lurches off the line. Feels good on pavement. Very surprised that I can kind of sit on the seat while I'm off-roading like this. This is pretty bumpy, and don't get me wrong, you can hear my voice, I'm getting shaken around a little bit, but like for a hardtail bike, I'm surprised that it's providing this much comfort. I feel like I've had worse experiences on like 20-inch bikes with suspension. I'm really surprised at the performance on this thing off-road. I really wasn't expecting this to be much of a off-road bike, but right, 3, 2, 1, and go. Looks like we're dropping a battery bar or two there. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, it's tough going into the headwind on this thing because it's like you're a giant parachute. It's like you're a giant sail on this thing holding it back. The tires on this are decent. They're good enough to get you around and everything. But in reality, you're probably going to want to switch this out with road tires if you're going to be on the street riding this thing around all the time. It is nice that they give us turn signals as well. This bike feels very stable, even in some really, really high winds like today. This thing feels stable. It does, you know, when the wind hits it really hard, then it does kind of wobble a little bit, but really not bad at all. 5 miles now, it looks like we're sagging down a battery bar or two. Maybe just one battery bar came back online there. But with a 20 amp hour battery like this, I think that we should be getting some pretty good battery life out of this bike for sure. I'm just gonna shift down to pedal assist 1 on here, and we'll do a little bit of pedaling in gear number 1. This thing is geared pretty tall. I think you should be able to keep up with some higher speed pedaling. I'm in gear 2 now. Looks like it's getting us to about 12, 13 miles an hour. This is a torque and cadence sensor on this bike. Again, you know, this is a little bit more of a premium priced bike, so it's nice to see that. The gear shifts are really smooth. This thing is well adjusted out of the box. I'm just gonna go up into 7th gear. And that torque sensor is nice. Mokwheel's torque sensors have always been really good. Gives you the power that you need for how hard you're pedaling. The higher your pedal assist level, the more help it's going to give you. On pedal assist 5, we know we're not even really doing anything here. We're just kind of moving our feet. But this obviously is more of a pedal bike, so if you want to get some exercise, you certainly can on the Mokwheel Basalt ST. Oh yeah, this is nice. I'm in 7th gear here, just kind of cruising along, pedaling. I don't really pedal these bikes, as you guys can probably tell. If you've seen other videos, you know that I'm not out here pedaling these things mostly. I usually check out like moped style bikes and dirt bikes and stuff. But this is really good, man. I'm comfortable on this. This is one of the, you know, it's a good bicycle when it's like, when I feel encouraged to pedal. And on this, I feel encouraged to pedal, not just like hang my feet down and use the pedals as foot pegs like on a lot of moped style e-bikes. This one definitely is encouraging me to pedal, and it gives me more power when I want it. I can keep up with this thing till 25 miles an hour. I still am inputting into these pedals here. I guess one thing that would be nice to have is a little horn on here sometimes. The little bell, like people don't hear it, and if you're in traffic too, you might want to have an actual horn where you can honk at somebody instead of this. Like, that's not going to be great for street driving necessarily, but you know, I really don't have much bad to say. It would be nice to have rear suspension, but if you want the Basalt with rear suspension, you have to get a Obsidian, I believe. That's kind of like this, but with rear suspension, and it's a few $100 more. But honestly, I'm really impressed with how this is. I guess too, if I'm nitpicking, like, I wish there was turn signals on the front, but in reality, like, this thing just is such a good bike. It is a little expensive, but that's kind of Mokwheel's position. They make more expensive premium bikes. They don't make like the cheap entry-level bikes. But honestly, this is just one of those bikes that you could have this for years and it's gonna last you. It's good quality, you know, you'll be able to get parts. Mokwheel's support is pretty good. They have plenty of aftermarket parts and stuff for this thing. And a lot of this stuff is just kind of off-the-shelf e-bike parts, so you really shouldn't have too much trouble finding parts for this, even if Mokwheel isn't able to support you. But I've had really good experience with all my Mokwheel bikes. I rode the Onyx, the new Onyx, the mid-drive one. I rode that probably a few hundred miles, and that one held up really, really well. I didn't really have any issues with that. So Mokwheel overall is just a really good company. I've been very happy with their bikes, and I think if you're just kind of the normal consumer, you just want an electric bike that's going to get you around, whether it's for the weekend or whether it's every single day you're riding this thing to work, into the store and everything, it's going to be a really, really good bike for you, especially since it has that rear rack on there, and the step-through design makes it super easy and practical for basically anybody to get around. Even if you have mobility issues, you should be fine on this thing. It is cool to see Mokwheel selling this thing with so many different options. You know, a lot of times with e-bikes you kind of get what you get, but on this you can customize this a lot more extensively than you normally could with a lot of e-bikes. You can choose the frame size, you can choose how many speeds you have. You have a lot of different colors to choose from on this too, so you can kind of customize this to whatever you need. And the seat comfort on this bike is actually pretty decent. It feels like an average e-bike seat, but I'm actually pretty comfortable on it. I'm surprised. Usually these bike seats just don't feel good on me, but this one doesn't feel bad at all. I've been riding for about 14 miles now, and I really don't have any discomfort. Just wrapping up our ride here, we got about 14 miles. Since we're at about half battery, I'm gonna go home and test this with a multimeter and see what the actual voltage of the battery is when we get home. Guys, just got back from the ride, and our battery meter says 3 out of 5 battery bars. We go about 16 miles on our ride, and we're at 47.5 volts. So really good battery life out of the Basalt ST 2.0 with its 20 amp hour battery. This thing feels awesome, man. I love Mokwheel bikes, like I've said 5,000 times in this video, and the Basalt ST is definitely no exception. This is a little bit more of, I'm not even gonna say like entry level or budget. Like it's a little bit more, as far as Mokwheel goes, a little bit more of an inexpensive bike. I think a lot of people, this is gonna be their first e-bike, and I think that you will be pleasantly surprised. You'll even be a little bit spoiled on this thing because there are just so many nice features about it, and the quality of it, and the build quality, and how this thing feels. It just feels like a really well-made bike. There's not much bad to say about it. I wish it did have front turn signals. Would have been nice to have a horn, and really just small stuff like that. The other thing is, this is kind of, again, a more expensive bike. So it's definitely not like a value entry-level bike, but I think you do get a lot of stuff for the price. And another thing that I wish they would have done is put actual name brand tires on here. I'm not even sure what tires these are. I couldn't see anything in the garage, but it would have been nice to have some Kenda tires on here or something. Not the best off-roader, but better than I thought it was going to be. If you want to go off the beaten path, you definitely can do it. And this is more than enough for the road and for gravel trails and just light grass paths and stuff like that. This is definitely more than enough for that. Other than that, guys, if you do want to pick up a Basalt ST 2.0, you can use the link in the description, and you can use my coupon code from Mokwheel to save you $50 off of the price of this thing, so you get a little bit of a discount. But yeah, I love the Basalt ST. Mokwheel has been an awesome company so far. I can definitely recommend this bike if you're looking for kind of an average entry-level e-bike that's just really well built. It's quick and it feels awesome. It's not super fast into this headwind though, man. The wind is just ridiculous out here. But the Basalt ST definitely has my approval. If you want to pick one of these things up, again, use the link in the description. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Ride safe out there, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.